on your screen, and we are.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pendergast podcast. And you guys already know what the deal is. It's brought to you by Bison. Listen, a question for everybody out there. Are you a track day junkie, a street rider, or somebody just looking to get a full leather suit, or even just a custom-made jacket? Don't buy an off-the-rack suit. Trust me, do not do it. When you can get a full custom suit, tailored and measured just for you by some of the best people on the planet, which is Bison. You can get your custom suit, any colors, any style, excuse me, with any logos you want on it. Listen, I'm telling you, when you meet Tosh and Robert at Bison, they're just the best people. Don't take my advice for it. Take everybody else's advice in the Moto America paddock that wears Bison. Pay attention, people. I'm telling you right now, bison.com, use the discount code PENDAGAS2024 for 10% off all your purchases. Hats, t-shirts, leather suits, gloves, whatever you want. But listen, thank you. It's an absolute honor to have my man, Billy Pedro, on the podcast. What is up, Billy?
How's it going?
It's going good, man. You know, I just rushed home from work, let my dog out like we had a phone conversation before we started this. You was in the same boat, you know. But yeah, life's good, man. Life is absolutely good. There's been a lot going on in the racing world. The season's been absolutely fabulous all around, all across the board. As everybody knows, the TT just got done. And if you have not watched the TT, what are you doing with your life, people? Live TT Plus is only $25. No, this is not a paid advertisement. I love the TT so much. I just got to let you guys know about it. So, yeah, Billy, did you watch the TT?
I actually watched the commentary that Mark Miller does. Mark Miller and I go way back, and I like listening to that dude. We go way back from college years when we went to Embry-Riddle up in Prescott, Arizona. And Prescott, Arizona was if you're from Arizona or for that part of the world, you know what I'm talking about.
Like I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, I do. I lived in Phoenix for 2 years. That's why I went to MMI. But yeah, I used to go to Prescott all the time and everywhere. Right. Man, I was everywhere. Phoenix is a unique place because you're close to everything. California, Las Vegas, Mexico. I mean, you're right there, right? The atmosphere is completely different than anywhere else. The energy. It's absolutely, and it's so easy to get around. People, you cannot get lost in Phoenix because everything's a square except for Camelback. It goes like this, cuts right through it, right? Other than that, you're good, right? So yeah, it's
easy to navigate. The cool thing about Arizona is you have access to California, to some of the bigger tracks like Laguna Seca. You know, we used to do that back in the day and just take a trip out to Laguna to go watch the national AMAs or even the GP when actually I'll date myself. I used to watch when it was called GP 500 on VHS.
Facts. I still got a buttload of VHS GP 500s. Yeah, huge fan, right? That was way before. So those that don't know, MotoGP was not MotoGP. It was 500 Grand Prix. They had 499cc, two-stroke, and they were absolutely monsters, right? But it was some of the best racing on the planet. There was no traction control, anti-wheelie, engine brake, anti-device, wings, all that bullshit, right? It was just pure
talent.
Talent. And the smell of the two-strokes and the fuel, it was, listen, we all miss those days that had that smell and was around those motorcycles. It was absolute phenomenon. Nothing like it is today. So
yeah, definitely.
So I've been to Laguna Seca. Billy, I went in 2005 when MotoGP first come back to there, which was an absolute amazing. And I tell everybody, you know, you see, you was there. Well, we probably seen each other and just didn't even know.
I was actually in the Hooter Suzuki paddock with my buddy Kyle Winkler. In fact, he just posted a good picture of a very young Eric Wood. Shout out to Eric Wood over at the Hooter Suzuki. My buddy Dave ran the program there, and I always got invited to their paddock was always a guest over at their product. So I got to spend some time with that team, and also we got to spend some time with Repsol Honda. We for some reason he had some connections, and so I got to see Nicky Hayden up close and everything before the race, and then after the race. That was incredible watching him that year. Those 2 years, 05, 06, was just incredible. But
Listen, absolutely, you're right. I met Nicky. That was the first time. Well, I didn't. Not the first time I met him because obviously when Moto was AMA out there, and remember the cheetah print haircut, dude, all that. Yeah, I was there for the whole thing. It was Nicky was that once in many lifetimes special guy, right? His
right,
energy, his aura, the way he come to people, and as soon as my wife seen him, like when my wife first started dating, I was like, this is one of my favorite writers. His name's Nicky Hayden, right? And I showed her a video, and the first thing she said is, "Oh my God, he is drop dead gorgeous. That smile is, dude. It's like it is. It's true, right? Even
that's the
us
first
men,
thing you notice about Nicky was his smile. That guy could light up the darkest room. It was
100%.
yeah. I met him at PIR in 98 when he went to PIR for an AMA race, and my old team I used to race with, White Spar Racing, Rob Martin was racing in that race, and I was out there pitting for him. And I remember the first time we met him, his wife, now girlfriend, then goes, "Oh, you gotta meet this guy. His name is Nicky Hayden." And he came over, and the guy was just a happy-go-lucky guy. Nothing could put this guy. The one good memory I have, and I told this to Earl in Indy back in 20. I want to say 2015, 14, when we went to Indy for Moto GP or MotoGP. I told him the first time we met him and his and Nicky was at PIR, and what the kind gesture that Nicky did for my teammate Rob Martin. They were out in practice, and there was this bowl section at PIR. Nicky came on the outside of my buddy Rob, tapped him on the shoulder with his elbow, and kind of just to let him know he was out there. And then after the practice session, came back to our pits and told us, "Hey, I don't know if you felt that pressure on the outside of the bowl and lap, blah blah blah, but that was just me letting you know I was there and about to pass you. Didn't want to spook you." And that's how nice. I go, that guy is cool. That guy's super nice, super
Right.
nice guy. So that was our first, what do you call, experience with Nicky was at PIR back in '98, and I remember that whole weekend. Everybody was just talking about him, because he was with Hypercycle, and we were racing a GSXR 750 like he was, and everything. And a lot of people forget that he was on Hypercycle for a little stint before he went to Honda.
He was absolutely. I remember that for sure. It was,
Yeah.
in those that didn't get a chance to meet Nicky, it was as soon as you met him, it was like you just gravitated to him naturally, right? And I could say when I went downtown Austin in Indy, I seen him outside the racetrack too. He was absolutely the same. Nothing changed at all. Super happy. Stop, talk to anybody. That smile, that accent. Bro, that accent. I seen my wife melt on the pavement, right? Like, let's just be honest, it was hilarious. But yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. In Laguna Seca, go ahead.
No, I was gonna I have a little backstory about Nicky, and then I don't know. It was, I guess, back in the early '90s. Remember when back in the early '90s when they had internet first started out and they had all these chat rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Well, his sister was in this one chat room called Hawaii Chat Now, and it's Jennifer Hayden. I was like, Jennifer Hayden, and I go, why does that name sound familiar? And I kind of went back to my old chat logs, and like, there it is. And I was reading some of our chats. It's like, oh yeah, I got some brothers that race and everything. She started naming her brothers. I was like, there it is. There's Roger, there's Tommy, and there's Nicky. She's talking about the Hayden brothers, and I didn't know who they were back in the early '90s. I was watching Scott Russell.
That's right. Yes.
And
Doug Chandler,
and
the Go Show.
Right, all those guys. And, know nothing about Nicky or anything like that. So that's kind of like a little thing I like to throw out. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I got a clue about Nicky back in the early '90s through his sister in a chat room. It blew me away. I was like, oh my God. And in fact, I don't even know if she knows the story and everything. But I went to my old logs. And I was like, I was reading like what we were chatting. Because, you could keep track of like what you're chatting because you're all typing on the screen and everything.
Yeah.
So that blew me away and everything. There's a few people I've told the story to that how I kind of knew Nuki before he was even anyone.
Before he became the legend he is, right? And
Yes, right.
not
And
only
that's why
Nikki.
if you ever see some of my Facebook feeds, I do a lot of homage to him just because he's one of those champions that needs to be remembered. Um, and I can't tell you how many experiences I've heard from other people, and especially even listening to stories with you, like how nice of a person he is. It's kind of like with Dustin. I always talk about him because he was such a nice person that could help you anybody that needed help, and that's what I like to do. I always like to project that positive energy in the sport, and
100%.
that's what they were. They were positive energies in our sport.
They were not only positive energy, it was addictive. Like as soon as you meet
Yes.
them, it's like they drew you in, and you was like, "Oh my God, I feel the energy and the passion," and you just wanted to be around them. It doesn't matter if you
Right.
even talk; you just wanted to stand there in presence. That's it. So speaking of which, so you see my Nikki Hayden right there on the wall.
Yeah.
Yep, and then Tommy Hayden's right there above
Tommy.
him. Yep,
Tommy the gun.
Tommy gun, right? That was
Yeah.
that poster's actually 2000 or 1999 when the new R6 just come out.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, man, I go way back, right? Yeah, it's good stuff, man. And just to touch base on Laguna Seca real quick, it's
Uh-huh.
you've heard it all the time. Everybody says the corkscrew, the corkscrew. Listen, the corkscrew is absolutely amazing. It's even better to watch in person, just like all
Mhm.
races are, right? Let's be honest. But to me, was turn one. Turn one
Oh
was
yeah.
a corner that separates the men from the boys, blind, fifth gear, pinned, left hand over the crest, can't see
Mhm.
over the corner. It was absolutely amazing.
You come right that downhill. It's kind of reminds of Coda, turn one Coda a little bit because
Yeah.
it's all uphill, and then you dive down into what do you call into the corner. You're basically almost doing a U-turn.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's absolutely amazing. And Laguna's wide, right? It's nothing compared. And I say it all the time. Cadwell Park. People ask me about it. Cadwell Park's literally, honestly, dude. Thinking it's probably if I lay down, Billy, I'm right at 6 foot. It might be 3 feet wide, longer than I am. I mean, it's the track's literally this wide.
Right.
But yeah, dude, this is awesome. But listen, Billy, dude, we got so much to talk about.
Right.
I want to start it off with, dude, how did you get into motorcycles to begin with?
My next door neighbor.
I love it.
So my next door neighbor, Brennan Silverano, he had a fleet of dirt bikes, and then we lived out in Wailua, where it's out in the country, sugarcane fields forever, um, sugarcane roads to go ride and everything. So I'd watch him like every morning. I see him like get out, go ride his his little dirt bike. Yeah, like a 50, then he progressed to an 80, and then 125 and 250, and so on. So I was like, hey, can I ride your 50? Can I ride your 80? And then that's how I got into motorcycles. I just basically it was just kind of like hand me down dirt bikes. Can I ride this? Can I ride that? And everything that. And I saw him recently when I was home in Hawaii. I was like, dude, you're the guy that actually put me on two wheels. Everybody thinks it's my cousin that my cousin got me on asphalt, but you actually got me on dirt. You're the guy that actually threw me in the red dirt of what do you call Wailua in the mud, and just I remember my first scratch on a. In fact, he was with me and his dog. His dog got in front of me, and I didn't want to hit the dog. We didn't want to hit the dog because we were riding, and I took one for the team. And it was like, oh, I'm putting this thing down. I ain't hitting the dog.
Facts. I'd be the same. I'm not hitting the dog. I'm an animal lover. I know you got a dog. I got a dog. And a matter of fact, my baby is right. Oh, I can't do it. She is. She's right there. She always comes in here with me when I
Mine's right
podcast.
behind me. Ratchet. I call him my 50-50 dog because a lot of people that know me and my dog, he either likes you or he doesn't. That's why we call him 50-50.
Charlie's she likes everybody. Like when people come over, she'll bark for a minute and she'll run out there and she'll see them and she's like, okay, I'm peopled out, and she'll disappear and go back into the room, right? Yeah, dude,
There he is.
it's there he's a cutie, absolute cutie, man. Nothing like animals. I hope all you guys got some. And listen, we got a comment. The legend himself, Bob Dunn, man. He says,
Bob.
"Yo, Billy, zoom, baby, yeah." I love it. So listen, growing up, dude, in Hawaii too, right? That's the place I always wanted to go, Hawaii. See the pictures. I really want to try authentic Hawaiian food. That's really what I want to do.
Oh yeah, you go out there. I always tell people, if you go out there, I'll be your tour guide. I'll fly out there with you. And people that do know me, I work in the airline business, so I'll basically hitch a ride and everything. Anytime I want to go home, I just hitch a ride. I go, hey, you going to Hawaii? I want to go and everything. So anyone in the airline business, they know I go standby.
That's awesome. My dad, he was a fighter pilot, as you know, in the Navy, and then he's been with United since 84 or 82. I can't remember. So he was a captain. He just recently retired. Congratulations, Dad.
Nice.
Yeah. So, dude, I remember before September 11th, Billy, when I was in high school, I used to get a book of blank tickets. So basically, I just write out where I want to go, put my name on it, go to the airport. I had to be nice slacks and a nice shirt. I couldn't wear my Pendergast shirt or swim trunks, right? As long as I dress nice, I give them the ticket, give them my ID, and it all goes. So standby goes by rank. That's what my dad always told me, right? So let's say seniority. So let's say if Billy out was more seniority than my dad and there was one seat left, guess who's getting a seat? Billy's getting a seat, right? And I'm waiting in the airport for maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever the next flight is, maybe a day. You never know. That's the thing about standby. But yeah, so I've flown my whole life, man. It's I love it. And to me, it's like getting in a car. You just go to the airport, check in.
You're talking about COVID, so pre 9/11, and I used to have this jumpsuit card because I work in engineering, and I used to be a mechanic, so we used to have these little jumpsuit cards. So what I would do if I knew like, just say you're coming on the same flight and there was a seat and I was gonna get that seat, what I would do is like, hey, I'll take the jumpsuit, have Chris over here sit in that seat. If he's the next one to get on, I'd tell, hey, put him in the back with the rest of the passengers, and I'll go sit with the pilots. And that was pretty cool. Sitting with the pilots, you get to see what they're doing, and we don't always talk about what's going on with the company and all that kind of good stuff. And just to be in the cockpit and just seeing a working operation. And this is like, this is why I do my job. Make sure these guys got a plane to fly, and we're gonna get there safely.
I love it, man. I love it. So I had the honor, obviously, my dad. He's been a captain forever. So growing up when I was little, I always wanted to sit up there, right? And my dad, he was like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna get you up there. So I got to sit up there, and you're right, it's an absolute total different experience sitting up there in that little tiny seat in the background. Yeah, I mean, the seat's literally this big.
Yeah,
it's not lying. It is. That's how I know. Yeah, dude, it is not comfortable, but you're so excited to be there. And it's just different, they spoke a language I don't even understand, especially at that age, right? But it was cool to see all the buttons and the knobs and everything lit up like Christmas. That's what I remember. And the windows to me seemed like they were small. I'm like, man, why are the windows so small, right? That's the first thing I thought of getting up there, because they're not as big as you think they are, but they're plenty big. I
think the newer planes are a little bit bigger. Back in the day, they were kind of small and everything. They weren't that big, just because they had to go up in altitude and withstand all the pressure, so they can't have that much space or room for the pressure, because the more space you have, there's a more chance of because there are so many planes of glass that had to separate the cockpit and the outside of the aircraft. So I think they mostly have like about 5 planes of glass in between, sandwiched. It's awesome to be, but can't sleep in the cockpit. I remember the captain would go, you can't sleep in this working environment. You guys stay up and watch for traffic.
Yeah, that's one thing they told me too. They see you can't fall asleep because I was over there,
Right.
strapped in with the little thing. My head was kind of not out. He's like, man, you can't sleep up here. It's a working environment. Exactly what you said.
Right.
And I'd wake right back up. I'd be like, yes, sir, no problem. Because I didn't want to disappoint my dad, right? Because he got me up
Mhm.
there. It was bad. It was an experience I'll never forget. It really
Yeah.
was. It's
You know what I used
just
to do was when we would fly over certain tracks, I would point at the pilots and go, "Hey, that's blah 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 track," and I was like, "That's a racetrack." I go, "That's a racetrack," and then it was like, "How do you know?" I was like, "Well, I've been on that track."
I'd be like, and also there's an airport right here, so I need you guys to land right here and let me
Yeah,
get
it's
off.
like
Yeah, drop me off right here. I'm good to
like
go.
Chuckwalla, man, Chuckwalla. I was like, "Hey, look, that's Chuckwalla." They got a little strip there, also. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Indy has one. Yeah, Indy has one too.
yep. Indy's got one too.
INDE.
They
Yeah.
do. It's yeah, Indy, man. I went every year but one year. Indy was different than any other like race
Hmm.
bike track. It really was. It was
Yeah, it is.
I never forget in 2008, the inaugural year, the first year that tornado hurricane that come through there.
Oh,
But what stood out to me the most about Indy every year I went was when you're in the grandstands and you're right across from the big glass tower, right there on the main front straight, man. At that when they started, dude, you couldn't even hear nothing. You couldn't hear a jet come by. I could yell in your ear and you couldn't hear it because everything ricocheted off that building in the
right. It's like a funnel,
grandstands.
and
Bro, in the grandstands, people are like 5 miles, like literally you look to the right and it's like all the way around that way. You look to the left, it goes all the way around that way. It was absolutely amazing.
yeah. I remember. I didn't go the first inaugural. I went the following year. I had a buddy of mine that lived like not too far from the track, so I would basically across from the track there was a. So what they did was the neighborhood that was across the track, they would open up their yards to people to camp
Yep.
in the yard, and I would always had like one of my friends from the airline I was working at the time. He would drive up like earlier than me. I fly in, Rockstar into like the airport, have him come pick me up, and we would stay like right across the track and
Yeah.
just go watch the MotoGP races.
Yeah, no, I remember that because one year we actually parked in one of those people's houses, and it was fairly cheap. It was like
Hmm.
$20 for a day or whatever. So we gave them
Right,
whatever
right,
$60 for the weekend. But I'm glad
yeah,
we did because literally you walk out of the main gate and you're right there across the street. You go
right,
right across the
exactly.
street, drop whatever it is you bought, and go right back in the track, right? Instead of
Mhm.
carrying all this shit around all the time.
And
But
the cool
Indy
thing
was
too is you never know who's barbecuing when you're going back. Yeah, the
facts, dude.
barbecues were epic.
They were, dude, and you walk out and the smell of all the foods. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. I'm hungry now just thinking about it, Billy.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So listen, growing up in Hawaii from
Hmm.
dirt bikes, how did you get in transition from dirt to the street?
So what happened was I was going to Embry Riddle up in Prescott, and I had a cousin of mine, Ronil Vidal. He was down at he went to what do you call school out there. I'm trying to remember DeVry. He went out to DeVry, then he got a job working in his field, and he got hooked up with these two guys from Hawaii that race ZX7s. Ron Rawls is out here. Shout out to the ZX7s. So my first introduction to road racing was these two guys, Kerry and Andrew from what they call Hawaii, that were racing AMA on I think 91, 92 ZX7s because this is about nine. This is back in 92, back in 1992. They're racing like one of the latest ZX7s out there. And we went to, he goes, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I go, nothing. I go, you want to come out to Vegas with my friends and I? We're going to go do this race. I'm like, what do you mean do this race? Well, just come along. So we go to when the AMA used to race in Vegas. I loved it when they raced in Vegas. So my introduction was basically at the time, super bikes were 750s. The
Yeah,
1000s were not even in the picture yet.
yeah.
Um, so I go to this AMA race and I watch these two guys race these ZX7s. I'm like, holy cow! And my cousin, he brings his YSR 50 with him, right, as a pit bike. And he goes, hey, you want to ride this thing? I was like, you know how to ride, but yeah, I ride dirt bikes. It's a little 50cc. Yeah, that's nothing. I'll ride it. So he got me hooked on riding the YSR. And what I would do, I would drive down to from Prescott to Phoenix and go ride his roommates YSR, and we'd go terrorize the whole neighborhood. Was our track. We would like, he would say like, those guys that were doing that at the AMA race here. I'll show you how to kind of race like that. So my crash course literally was learning from my cousin that took me to my first AMA race up in Vegas.
I love
That's how we got into it. It was like, I did that for like maybe a half a year. Then this little organization, well, not little, but I thought it was little back then, called CCS Southwest, was doing club racing in the Phoenix area. So I did my first road racing school with Jim Cox. He was a Dunlop vendor back in the day. Really nice guy and very knowledgeable with the tires. I didn't know tires was a science back then. I thought you just put on some sticky tires and go, but no, it was a whole science about like what tires to use and the conditions and everything. So basically went to road racing school. And the next day I did it on a 87 SRX 250.
Nice.
That's what I did my road racing school. So the next day I got my license, and then they asked me, it's like, you want to go do a race? You mean I can go? You can go race if you could prep your bike. So I did like one of the lightweight classes with my little SRX single cylinder thumper. I think it was lightweight super sport, because it was basically my bike was bone stock. Even I had a stock exhaust. So my first race was on a bone stock SRX 250 single piston thumper. And there were things out there called EX 250 or the Ninja 250s, and they were fast. The little EX or Ninja 250s. I was getting my doors blown away from those things. So that was my first race. So my second race, I go from an SRX 250 to a GSXR 750, and I bought used.
That's a big jump.
I know, it was a big jump going from a 250 to a 750. My cousin looks at me like, dude, you did your road racing school in the 250. What? I had that mentality. I was like, I rode dirt bikes. This is equivalent to like, rode CR500. It's about like a CR500. I can ride CR500. I was like, dude, riding the street and riding dirt, totally night and day. I come to find out my first race on the 750. It was night and day. I wanted to pack up and go home and cry. I really don't know how to handle this beast at all, because when the power band hit on that thing, it was like turbos. I hit the power band on a 750, and I had to hold on. I was like, holy cow! I've never unlocked the potential of a bike on the track versus being on the street. Street riding and being on the racetrack, totally night and day. When I hit that power band on the front straightaway at Firebird, Maine, I was like holding for dear life. I'm like, holy cow, never did this to me on the street. and so that's how I got into basically from dirt to asphalt. In fact, my asphalt riding was just on YSRs until I found another GSXR 750 to ride on the street. And that's what I rode on the street, was a GSXR 750. I still have one to ride on the street.
Nice, I love it. So was that Firebird International Raceway?
Correct. Yeah, that was main track, and then we had the west track.
Yeah, me too.
East track.
Yeah, I've been to all of them. That's where I started my road racing career. Well, my not career, but went from track days to doing racing in CCS Midwest for pretty much the whole time I was there. Then I come back here and went to Aaron Stevenson's Corner Speed School. Did that, and then did a shit ton of track days at VIR. It was I was never going to be fast enough to win races and all that, right? And I was just like, you know what? I just want to have fun with it. I just want to do a bunch of track days. So that's what I do.
There was no track days back in '93 when I first started.
No, it wasn't. No.
So I went from basically road racing school and all right, go race. Here's some practice sessions and go through a yellow plate. There was no T-shirt to wear that you were a new guy at all.
No orange shirt.
No, never were sure. They knew you were a new guy because you're back of the pack and you're basically the moving chicane for that race.
That's awesome. See, you see these three guys over here? Yeah, they're the slow guys. So work your way around them. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
yeah. I
everything.
remember
But
when I did it, Mark Ledesma, I think that's his name.
yes, he
Yes,
was. Oh, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say he was the absolute man there at the track, and he had a ZX7. I want to say it was a 97, 98, something like that.
Mhm.
He was absolutely just murdered it.
So I know Ledesma from his EX 500 days. He was the EX 500 killer. He would kill people on his EX 500 and everything. And then when he went to the big bike, he's basically all the skills that he learned from the little bike. Man, he basically just grew his skills exponentially on the bigger bikes. And I was like, holy cow, he's riding that thing like it's a YSR 50. He's just throwing it around and just like taking names and getting up on the podium and just basically ruling.
He did, right? So
Yeah.
do you still stay in touch with Mark?
I think the last time I spoke to him, he was at my buddy's house. It was so funny. I'm going to my buddy's house. He's a Southwest Airlines pilot, Bill Davis, and he was going over there to like I guess drop something off. And I ran into him on a corner at the traffic light. And I'm like, "Hey, Mike, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to my buddy's house. Same here." And we end up at the same house. And this was probably back 2011 or 2010. So it's been a while since I've seen him and everything. But this is like I think he had just retired from racing the AMA, and just doing his own thing, life after the AMA. Basically, he was just out there. Just I think they were helping out one of his friends on a bike, and he was dropping off. I think it was paint or something like that. I remember right.
He was always super cool. I told him I went
Yeah,
up
always
to him.
helping people.
It was. I was like, dude, I'm brand new. Like, I've ridden, dirt and street, but this is my first, like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, dude, yeah, just, he gave me a bunch of advice. Take it easy, chill, just have fun. I'll never forget him say that. Just have fun. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. And another thing he did tell me was leave your ego wherever you got it, because you're not people. I find people when they think they're super fast on the street, right? Let's just be honest. We're all a bunch of squids at one point in our life, right? Going on the street, riding wheelies, fifth gear, 140 miles an hour, running from the cops, all that shit. And so basically that's what he was saying. He's like, look, dude, you ride fast on. I was like, yeah, dude, I ride fast on the street, all this. And that's when he was like, dude, you got to leave that ego back there. Out here, this is totally different.
Right.
And it blew my mind. It was absolutely I'll never forget the time I spent with him. He was super, super cool. And then every time I'd come to the track and he was there, I'd be like, Mark, what's up, man? He's like, oh, what's up, Simcoe? Blah, 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 blah. And he always give me compliments too. He's like, dude, you're getting better, blah, blah, blah. I noticed this, but you need to work on this and do this. I'm like, okay, it's
right.
Like, yeah, that's the type of person he was. And yeah, I'll never forget it. And I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. He was always right behind him. He was a dark-skinned fella.
Well, there was also Scott Jensen came from that.
Yep, Scott Jensen.
Scott Jensen, and then actually Tommy Aquino used to come over from California and and race with us too over at CCS Southwest. Man, I just remember some of my fondest races. Like, oh wow, I'm actually in a race with Tommy Aquino. He brought a Graves bike, but I'm trying to keep my own, not trying to get lapped by anybody and everything. But it's out there with the Graves bike.
Tommy was an absolute legend.
Yeah, awesome.
Tommy was one of those, different. I'll never forget him on the WD-40 Kawasaki.
Oh, yes.
Was it the Kawasaki? Yeah, I think it was. Was it a Kawasaki?
R6, I thought it was.
Okay, well, it might have been, yeah. But anyway, it was Billy and his mom. I mean, Tommy and his mom. Yeah, they were absolutely amazing people, man. Absolute legends. So listen, before we say anything else, there's something I gotta say is listen, everybody, they're looking for volunteers, right? Corner marshals, track workers. The Central Road Racing Association is 54 years old, completely volunteer run club. That calls Brainerd International Raceway, which is this weekend, home right? Moto America's going this weekend. The CRA and Moto America are actually looking for volunteers to help staff corner workers during that weekend. Trust me, it is the best seat in the house. Ask Billy. If you're a corner marshal,
Right.
like you have the best seat, not hot pit, not cold pit, not people you know on the straightaway. The corner marshals is where it's at, right? So, this is your chance to get the best seats in the house. Like I just got done saying, of the best motorcycle racing in the US, if not in the world, right? Moto America is absolutely amazing. So listen, you guys can reach out to the CRA through their Facebook page for more information, and they can help you get set up, not just at Brainerd, but all the other tracks, Mid-Ohio, Laguna Seca, the Ridge, New Jersey, all these tracks that are coming up. If you ever wanted, and it's, you sign up and you get in for free, like you get free the whole weekends for you for free, right? It's who don't want to go to a free race on the weekend?
Right.
I know this guy
See
does.
and see it up close.
And see it up close and personal. Absolutely.
Right.
So listen, guys, do me a favor, go to CRA, get on the website, sign up for all these tracks. Trust me, you will thank me and Billy later. I promise you. You will message us and be like, dude, you guys are absolutely right. And once you do it once, you're going to continue doing it. I got a lot of friends that do it, and they're actually trying to talk me into doing it, which one day I will. One day I would like to go out there and actually corner marshal one time. And Bob Dunn's actually got a question for us. He says, is either of you guys going to Brainerd this weekend? Listen, I wish I was going to Brainerd this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it, but I will be at Mid-Ohio and I will be at Jersey.
Yeah.
So
I will be at Mid-Ohio. I can't go to Brainerd this weekend. I'm helping out CG Cohen this year with Hooligan, and we'll be going to most of the, I say most, not all. We're going to Mid-Ohio and Coda. Coda's like my back door. I'm only like 2 hours away in Houston from Coda. So definitely going to Coda and everything. We had to opt out of the Ridge and Laguna Seca. It's CJ's first year, so we're still feeling things out. How to set up the bike and how to get to these venues. And that's the biggest thing, trying to get to the venues. Always, I think this one racer told me in order to actually win or even do really good, you got to show up to a race.
yeah.
You got to be on there with the seat time, being on that in that race. If you make the race, half the battle's there. Just making the race, getting on the grid, and qualifying for the grid. It's half the battle right there.
It is. It is. And you guys, CJ Cohen, he's an absolute legend. Legacy, right?
Yeah, Legacy. I'm wearing his.
Yep, there it is. You guys go look him up. He's on Facebook. Coach CJ Cohen. He's absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, if you go back, I forget what podcast I was on that actually had him. I brought him in as a guest for like a couple minutes.
I've seen that podcast. I don't know which one you're talking about.
So you guys stay tuned because I would love to get CJ on. He'll come on. And matter of fact, you know what? I want to get you and CJ on because y'all are on the team. And yeah. We could talk about all that. That'd be a great topic for sure. But yeah, man, dude, listen, we're 40 minutes into this already. I told you it's going to go by like this, dude. So much fun. And we still got so much to talk about.
I know. We're just talking about the amateur years when I was into it. We're not even talking about when I started going out to these other tracks on the way west and way to the east. Those tracks. Man, it's just I'm looking. I started my road racing career since 1993. I got one other person I can compare myself to is Joe Tichy. He started the same time as me, but in Wisconsin. And everything, of all places, I go, that's got to be a cold place to go ride. But I go, yeah, I got to ride Road America a lot. I was like, yeah, that's a nice track to go ride. That's the national park of speed.
Yeah, Road America is
beautiful. That's a very beautiful track. I like going there.
Me too. I just got back.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just went.
Weekends. Yeah, it's.
I was so tempted to just jump on a plane to go.
You should have, bro. You should have.
I was really tempted, but I was like, oh no, I got a few things I got to do this week, and I got to get done before it gets hot.
Yeah,
no worries. But the backdrop of the whole interview, I'm in my A-class, motorhome. I live in a motorhome full time, So, unlike the lackeys, I just stay in one place. I take this out like maybe 3 times a year, but I don't go cross country like the lackeys do. But it's almost the same one as the lackeys. It's just I don't have the garage or the second floor, but
Yeah.
everything's pretty much the same configuration.
I love it, man. It's awesome. It's I can't wait to meet you in real life at Mid Ohio. We're gonna have an absolute blast that weekend.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
gonna be a lot of fun. And I tell you what, dude.
We
Next year,
probably have at Firebird, because I was thinking, as much times you've been to Firebird, we probably passed by and not know each other.
oh, 100%. I already know we did. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And didn't realize it, but look, it's funny how life comes full circle, right? It's
Right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And like I tell everybody, man, and I thought about this while I was at work today. I was at work, it was not a rough day, but not everybody has fun at work all the time. Let's just be honest, right? So I was like, man, I just want to clock out and go home. And then it hit me. You know what I say to everybody all the time? Dude, enjoy this moment. Live, stop, take it all in, enjoy it. It's something you'll never get back. You can't fast forward the time. You can't pause it. You can't rewind it. So as soon as I did that, I put a big smile on my face. I stood there for 30 seconds, looked around, smiled, and my day was absolutely a lot better. So, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, we have.
Man.
Speaking of, we have this saying back home in my hometown. Enjoy the ride. There's this company called Hawaiian Island Creation, and that's like one of the mottos: enjoy the ride. Either surfing or what you're doing that day, like going out to the beach, just enjoy the ride. And that's what I try to tell myself when I go racing is like enjoy the ride, because how often do you get to go to all these tracks across the United States? And like I remember the first time I went to, they just had what do you call the Loudon Classic, I remember the first time I went to that track, I go, this is a very crazy track. I go, because this part of the track, if you don't make it, you go into that wall. Why is there a wall there? I was watching, I think Stefano go up to, I think it's turn 3. There's turn 3, and then you go up the hill to the bowl and everything. But turn 3, if you screw up there, the wall's right there. I've seen people go off the track and land right there, and I'm like, don't target, fix it. The next turn's this way. Look this way. And it was a crazy track. I remember the first time going there to Loudon. It was like, wow. And it was like, and this is in the rain. And it was like, I wonder what it's like during the dry. I don't think I've ever raced there in the dry. It looked like this year it was all dry. It looked dry to me. Most of it was.
Yeah. And so big shout out to Eli Colby. He absolutely murdered it that weekend.
Yeah,
so yeah, Eli's a legend. And speaking of Eric Wood's a legend too. So if you guys need parts, Eric Woodcraft. See, listen, it's some of the best stuff you're ever gonna buy. Rear set, dude. Don't take my word for it. Take everybody else's word for it again.
Yeah.
Woodcraft is absolutely amazing. He makes all kinds of stuff. So go check out his website. No, this is not a paid advertisement. He's just a friend of mine, and his products are simply one of the best on the market. So if you guys need anything, hit him up.
Yeah, that's his actually backyard where he trains at, is up there at Loudon. But he also goes down to Homestead on in the wintertime, because I've been at races. I was like, hey, Eric Wood's down here, because you know why? It's snowing up there in the north. So he's out there with his buddies. He brings like a good amount of people down to Homestead to go race during the winter months and everything. It's I've seen him down there a few Decembers. Like I think in 2021, 22, he was down there racing with his crew. Really nice guy. I've known him since when he was racing for Hooter Suzuki. So it's been a while since, and I got to see him grow his business, is also his career, just being on the different bikes he was. I was talking to, I think, Kyle, one of the mechanics for Hooter Suzuki. We were talking about like the different bike schemes they had. They had of course they had the Hooters, and I remember one time Dave, who owned the team, had, I think, the Mountain Dew. I don't know if you ever seen the Mountain Dew version of the GSX R750. That was pretty cool. He had like, oh wow, that's pretty neat.
It reminded me of was Days of Thunder out then?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, because that's what it might Cole Trickle, right? Yeah, and the whole baby.
Yeah,
Hey, we're telling our age right now, ain't we?
yeah, right there before Talladega Nights, because it's like there's like these movies you watch before a race, and when I used to hang out with Dustin, and so there's D1, D2. There's Dustin Apgar, which is D1, and D2 is Dustin Richards. And we would watch Talladega Nights right before a race because we would like be quoting because that movie was so quotable, just like Days of Thunder. There's parts of the movie that was quotable, like Napoleon Dynamite is quotable and everything. So and everything. So we like quoting things right before a race, and just to get get our mind relaxed before a race, and not I wouldn't say take it too serious, but you want to be out there, focus on what you need to do in the race, but at the same time have fun. Enjoy that ride and everything. You gotta get that mentality. Enjoy the ride and refuse to lose.
That's it. Have fun, and don't forget to pin the gas. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Facts,
That's funny you say that because when we get into my what do you call my team endurance teams, but the first team that I created was with one of my good friends, Hector Cuellar out of Tampa, and we had to try to figure out the name of the team and to go, what about because we're always pinning the gas, but we're always right at red line. How about fifth gear tap? I mean, sixth gear tap. That's what we named the team. Sixth gear and tapped because you're pinning the what do you call it, the throttle.
Yep.
You go on zoom and everything. And I was like, so that was the name of the first endurance team that I created. Compared to I don't know if you knew what the last team was called. It was the name of the team was about this long, about the size of the state fish of Hawaii.
Well, tell everybody what the name of the team was.
Kama Mana Wana Win Y'all. I have to say it that slow because if I say it too fast, you're like, what? Kama Mana Wana Win Y'all. It came from I was listening to some rap song, and I think it was what's his name that raps really fast. Trying to remember the guy.
Rhymes.
Yeah, Busta Rhyme. So it was like a Busta Rhyme song I was listening to, and then I was like, and then I was trying to go, well, it's gotta be something associated to Hawaii. And you know how people go, Kama Mana Wana? I was like, well, how about Kama Mana Wana Win Y'all? Because that's all I want to do is win, y'all. And because I live in Texas now, I had to put that y'all. So I kind of put so I put a Hawaiian and a Texas flair to it. So Kama Mana Wana Win Y'all. And the announcers, like Dave from TCS, he would like, Billy, why so long? I go, well, it just represents where I'm from and what I'm doing. I'm trying to win, y'all.
That's it. I love it, man. In Texas, I was gonna say, dude, next year, dude, I'd fly out, dude, and we could just hang out the whole weekend and go to the GP race.
Yeah, there's a GP race, and also what do you call Chris Littegard lives out here in Houston, and he does these track days over at MSR. Shout out to Chris Littegard. And if you talk to him, man, he'll show you around the track.
Oh, facts. Yeah, I'm good buddies with Chris. I talked to him. Yeah. Matter of fact, the other day I talked to him not too long ago. Actually, when I was in Road America, because I hit him up when I was there with him, and I think in 2019 he actually flew me out there. I was working with him when he was in the Twins Cup on the KK47 bike, right?
Oh yeah. I've worked on that part too.
Right, and then so we went to this. It's called the Tiki Bar.
Oh yes,
bro, yes. Dude. So listen, my man Romeo Chavati, big shout out to Romeo, top pro, Aprilia RS660 in the Twins Cup class. Me and Romeo are good friends. We text each other a lot. So he was like, "Hey man, what was the name of that restaurant?" And I was like, "Let me hit Chris up real quick because I totally forgot what the name of it was." I was like, "Chris,
right,
bro, I'm in Wisconsin. What's the name of that place we went to again?" He said the Tiki Bar.
Right.
So I told Romeo, hey, because him and his dad wanted to go. Big shout out to Oswald, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah, Oswald.
Yeah. So they called me and they was like, dude, the bar, it's closed. I was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, next year when we go, we'll just all go out together and we'll just go hit it up. Hopefully it won't be closing, but it was
I've had my birthday there.
You guys are there. Go by the Tiki Bar. You won't be disappointed. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny. Through the years, I used to have my birthdays because my birthday's in July 18th, and they're usually near like a Moto America race. So I've had 2 or 3 birthdays up in Wisconsin at the Tiki Bar, and KK and Joe Tiki can what do you call attest to that. And then I've also had my birthdays over at Laguna Seca because they were really close to Laguna Seca or races. And what I would do as a bonus is like after that race, fly to Hawaii because I was like, hey, it's only 4.5 hours to Hawaii out of San Jose, and I'll be home in Hawaii. And I would do that, after the Motor Market weekend, fly to Hawaii, go spend some time with friends and family, and then fly back to Texas.
That's awesome, man. So, what brought you to Texas?
What brought me to Texas was my cousin that got me into racing. I was out in Georgia, then I moved to Florida, and I want to kind of be near work at the time. And we had maintenance bases. People that know what I do for a living, I work for an air cargo airline as an engineer, and I'm that one guy that my boss gets waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then he wakes me up to go do the work. My boss is watching. That's what he does. He'll wake me up to go do the work after he gets waking up to go, hey, this is what the problem is. Then he'll wake up his guys, and then we go figure out what's wrong with the plane, and give like some kind of direction or part numbers that they need to go order and to fix the plane. So what got me to Texas was my cousin was living in Houston, and he had moved from Arizona to Houston. He's got his one daughter there, and he was basically trying to stay close to family. And I told myself, you know what, that's what I need to do. I need to be closer to family. So I moved out to Houston, and back in 2019, just to be closer to family. I got my one cousin here in Houston back in 2019. I got another cousin that was at Fort Hood and in Killeen, and he was out there. So I got 2 cousins here in the state. At least I'll be closer to family, and plus I can just jump on a plane and go to Hawaii out of Houston. So that was my kind of like my promise to my parents, so that I'd be at a place where I can just jump on a plane and be home if anything happened to any one of them, where I can just basically jump on a plane and be there. And I'm so glad that I made that decision, because last year I lost my mom, and I had that ability to do where I just basically jumped home to Hawaii, and 3 days later my mom passed. But I was so lucky I was there by her side before she passed, and that was like a promise I kept to my parents, that like any time anything would happen to them, I'd be there in a heartbeat. So I always tell people, I was like, you ever see an icon of a jet on my homepage, that means I'm zipping home. And it's kind of like the bat signal for me. It's like when people want to know where I'm at, and I show the plane, everybody knows I'm flying home and everything. So that's what led me to Texas as family, basically, because that's the one thing about Hawaii. Everything is basically ohana. Everybody, and that's how I treat my race family. My race family is like my own family. It's like, once I get to like Dustin, yourself, and just other people that I've met through racing, once they're part of this big race family, I got Ratchet pushing me right
I see. He's awesome. He's like, I want on camera. What's up, Ratchet?
Ratchet.
I love it.
Such a good boy and everything.
I love it.
And that's the thing is like, once you're in the race family, your family for life. For me, I got like families spread around, race families spread all over the place, from the East Coast, West Coast, and everything in the middle. Because you're up in is it Pennsylvania?
I'm running Virginia.
Virginia, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool because Mid Ohio's like 6 hours from me. New Jersey 6 hours from me. Atlanta 6 hours from me. Florida's like 10 to 12, depending on traffic, of course.
But when I lived in Florida, I lived in Deltona, and Deltona was like 25 miles from Daytona. And I just remember like, I'm only 25 miles away from Daytona, versus when I lived in Phoenix, I was like 32 hours away, or when I was in Dallas, I was like 18, 19 hours away.
Yeah.
And being close. You must have seen a squirrel or something.
Or maybe he's
That's
just
a good thing.
maybe he just wants to say something on the podcast.
He goes, yeah, he was like, yeah, I don't like being in those 18, 32-hour drives and everything. Because, yeah, he's a lousy, what do you call it, navigation person. He always ends up sleeping.
Yeah, right. Do I go left or go right? He's back there sprawled out, just out. Yeah,
He's like,
okay.
turn up the AC and leave me alone.
Right, and I'm hungry and I gotta pee, so I need to
Yeah,
stop. I need to get fed. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the thing with traveling with dogs. You stop
Right.
quite often. Yeah,
Man,
absolutely,
yeah.
man. So I when I was in Phoenix, man, I wanted to stay, but I'm like you.
Mhm.
Like my parents were in Roanoke, Virginia, so I was like, you know what? I really want to be close to my mom and my dad. Like I'm like, I eat with them twice a week. I see them pretty much every day anyway, but I'm like maybe 8-9 minutes away from them. I spend a lot of time with them because they're, the most important people in my life besides my wife and my son,
Right.
and of course all my racing family, which I call the beautiful circus that we're in, right?
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing. But you're right, that immediate family is being close to, home is everything. So I applaud you for that, man. I would be the same way. Like, hey, I'm close. I can get to
Yeah,
where I
and
need
plus,
to be.
I figure in Texas, I'm in the middle of the country. So if I need to go to a track on the East Coast, I'm not like, because I lived in Phoenix or Arizona for 13 years. 4 of those years up in Prescott, and then the rest down in Phoenix. Actually, I spent like maybe 2 years in Tucson, and then I moved to Phoenix to an airline I worked for how many years? Like 5, 6 years, 6 years, and everything. So it was like always the airline driving me to where I was going to be. In fact, that's what led me to Georgia. I was working for Gulfstream. In fact, here's a little factoid. Back in 2014 and 15, I wrote the whole maintenance manual. They were looking for a technical writer to write the maintenance manual for the Gulfstream 500, and it took me 1 year to write the whole manual, how to basically take the whole plane apart and put it together. They had this thing. Gulfstream had this mock-up of the plane called Ironbird. Basically, it was the whole aircraft just without the aluminum skin. You had all the major structures and where the engines would be mounted, and basically, I sat with my laptop and wrote procedures how to troubleshoot, take off certain systems, and the whole shebang. It took me a year. So that's one thing I'm proud of, is writing the maintenance manual for the Gulfstream 500.
Absolute legend, dude. Yes,
Yeah.
I'd be lost. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
So I always get asked that question. It's like, so how are you on planes when you get on a plane? I go, I just sit in my seat, happy I got a seat, and go to sleep or try to keep myself busy, because I tell myself there's nothing I can do at this point. I can't go out there, put duct tape on anything, or tighten the screw, because they don't allow tools or anything on a plane. I'm just there for the ride. Just kind of enjoy that ride.
Enjoy the ride. That's right. And listen, so motorcycle world, we got 200-mile-an-hour duct tape, right? So
Yeah.
airplane, well, you got 600-mile-an-hour duct tape.
No, we just put 2 patches of 200-mile-per-hour duct tape that equals to 4, and then so on. We just multiply.
We just overlap it, right? We
overlap
it. It's good. We weave it in like carbon fiber, right? Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
awesome. I love it. So when I was in Phoenix, I'll never forget it, 69th Avenue and Bell Road, right there in Peoria. It was absolutely awesome. It was yeah, man. I was close to everything. Phoenix, man, I had a really good time. I would definitely move back there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I lived in Ahwatukee, which is really close to the track, on basically Chandler and 44th.
Yep. Chandler, I ain't heard that in a while. Chandler and 44th. Yeah. Good stuff, dude. Listen, dude, we're 59 minutes into this, and it's like we've just begun the conversation, right? It's absolutely awesome. So listen, I want to talk. How did you meet the legend Gilliam man, the Gilly man?
I met him at basically at the CCS racetrack. It was Firebird, Maine, the main track. Excuse me. Get some water in me.
Go ahead.
The air's kind of dry here.
In Texas, absolutely.
But
The air is
yeah,
dry there in Texas for sure.
yeah.
But everything's bigger and better in Texas. You guys already know, and they got Buc-ee's.
The biggest Buc-ee's. They just opened the biggest Buc-ee's here in Texas. So getting back to Dustin, so Dustin goes and does road racing school at the main track at Firebird, and I'm out there at the time when I met Dustin. I was an expert. I was like maybe 1 or 2 years into as an expert, and Dustin does the road racing school. So next day, he does it on the SV 650, and excuse me. And he's in one of my, and I'm doing it. I'm racing SC, what do you call it, second generation SV 650, and he's on a first generation SV 650. So you got the regular experts in the race, and then you have all the amateurs. And I remember seeing Dustin on the track. I go, oh, new guy, how you saying, pointing out all the new riders, like that's the new guy. I gotta watch out for that guy. And Dustin was a little different. He was like, that first race, he ended up winning the expert. I mean, not the expert, the amateur. What do you call class? And he came in overall with the experts. I think fifth. He was top five because I finished third in that race. I was like, I saw him like nipping at the top three guys on the podium, and he, if he gave it 2 more laps, he would have been up there with the experts. That's how good he was. I had to go meet him afterwards, introduce myself to him, and that's how I got to know Dustin.
The legend, Dustin. Listen, if you guys, Dustin, I met him several times. Every time I met him, our energies just matched. It was always hugs and smiles, and of course, immediately motorcycle race talk. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. But you got to know him on a personal level and spend a bunch of time with him.
What's crazy was I need to know about Dustin's life prior to racing. I didn't know he was Captain Insano when he used to do stunt riding. I found out when he got into the AMA racing. When he got into AMA racing, and I see your buzz, like, you know who that guy is, right? Dustin Barry's racer out of the Southwest. I go, no, you don't know. I go, I don't know what. He used to be a stunter. I'm like, what? And then they would tell me his stunt name, and I go watch videos. Like, oh my god! It was like this guy was huge in the stunt community. He was like, holy cow! It was like, and I go, wow, I know him. And that was the thing. And then I remember confronting him one day and going, hey, we've been friends for a long time. I didn't know you were a stunter. I thought you knew. I'm like, no, I did not. And it was like, I thought you would get a clue with all the antics we would do after a race in the paddock area, if you know what I'm meaning, with some of our pit bikes and everything. And it was like, I thought you knew. I was like, no, I did not know. Not until now. And then I'm like, wow, that's a trip and everything. So yeah, spending time with Dustin, I got to really know him and know where he came from. Like especially when he would talk about going up to Vermont where his mom lives and everything, living out there. It's like, oh, you're a little country boy, just like me when I lived out in Hawaii, out in the sticks basically, because he told me where he lived. He grew up in Vermont. I'm like, holy cow, that's like Wailua, Hawaii, and that's sticks. You tell people where that is, sometimes the locals won't even know. You have to tell them it's next to this town. There I go. There's a town there. Like, yeah.
Yeah, all of 8 people. Yeah, but there is a town.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and the bus system doesn't come rolling. Well, they do now, but before they had limited access to. But you had to go to the next town or catch the shuttle to the next town to get to the bigger cities. That's how you're in a small town.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's how I got to know Dustin, is basically through Southwest road racing back in the day, CCS. CCS days, and then when he jumped out to the AMA, when he tried his hand at the AMA, and I helped him a few times when he did the 200 on Predator 6 or 7. I'm trying to remember, because one was a 1000 and the other one was a 600 R6. Some of his older crew guys would probably know. I can't, because he would name each of his bikes Predator, Predator 1, and so on. and everything. That was all cool thing. That's another thing about Dustin. I did know that when I first met him, he was in the army and he was an army sniper and everything. And that guy, no joke, I can contest. We were at, I don't know if you know Kevin Jones,
Mm-hmm.
um, Jones Honda. We went out to what do you call Missouri one time, and we were at his dad's farm, and it was a coyote. It was like two coyotes that was kind of like out there. I think one of them was stalking us, and we stopped the side by side, and motor's running. He's got his one leg on top of my thigh, and he's leaning on Cameron for support. And he takes a shot of this coyote from like 100 yards out or so, like maybe 100, 150 yards. Nails it, and he was trying to get the second shot off to the second one. The second one kind of ran away, and that night, that second one came and followed us home to the camp and stalked us. The next day, he went looking for it and got it and everything. It was like, holy cow!
Yeah, he
You
was
know,
he
he
was a
sniped two coyotes that weekend before we went to Road America for a race that Kevin Jones won that weekend on a CBR 500 for junior class.
I love
And
it, man.
everything. Yeah,
He was a man of many talents. Who could ever forget the Gillum suit? I was like,
yeah.
what is
The
he
Gil-
wearing? Yeah, what is he wearing right now?
Especially
You're
in
not
Arizona.
sniping. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, in
in
Arizona,
Arizona, I was like, why would you wear that
it's
in June?
150 degrees,
I
right?
know,
Like dragging his helmet. Like, what are you doing? What's
I
going
know.
on? Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, holy cow! And you know the crazy thing too, like, I remember one time at East Track, he'd have his whole what do you call pit set up, and he would have these speakers in his van or his car, and it would be like howls of wolves or coyotes, and he would yell out over to where I'm all pitted at, and he goes, Billy, what's that? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you hear that? I go, yeah. And there's coyotes at this racetrack. Oh, shut up! There's no coyotes and everything. It was like, and then you would have like all these coyotes, and you would like drive people crazy. And then I remember one time we were at Motor America at Pitt, and we were sitting on a hill, and we were actually listening to coyotes. And we went to sleep that night in the RV. The next day, we saw droppings of coyotes, and it pissed them off. Like, oh my god, those guys came over to our what do you call our RV. I'm gonna go get them. I was like, oh, here we go. It was like, I hope we're not gonna try and snipe one on the track and everything. He didn't, but we went looking for them and trying to see where they're at and everything, and kind of like spy on them. But yeah, it's like, but yeah, he would like there's all kinds of stories. I mean, sniping coyotes. There's like a real. I don't know if you ever heard of the one in his home in Phoenix. There's one man, only he could tell it so good. I don't want to repeat the story because he tells that story about sniping this one that was stalking him at his house in Phoenix, and the way he tells it is crazy because in fact a lot of people that know him really closely knows the story I'm talking about. If you ever heard the story, it's basically this coyote was passionately stalking. I mean, he basically stalked it back and got it, and the way it went down, it was epic. That should have been made into a movie.
He was a movie. He was a walking movie himself.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, man. Good stuff, dude. Listen, we're an hour and 10 of this, dude. I love it. We'll go by so fast. It's
Right.
man, dude. Listen, I can't wait to see you in mid Ohio. We're gonna have so
Uh-huh.
much fun. That's one thing I love is meeting my friends, and I always say real life, right?
Right.
It's yeah, man, we're gonna have a lot of fun. And I'm serious, dude. I want to come out there in Texas next year, and me and you and Lilligard will link
Yeah.
up, and yeah, man, have an absolute mega time for sure. Proper mega, as everybody knows. That's what I always say all the time. It's the best
Go
thing.
Zoom.
Yeah,
that's
right.
my thing. Go Zoom.
Yeah, and Zoom. Yeah, every time Billy, I text Billy Pedro right here. I'm like, Billy, blah blah blah. And it's always Zoom, or he'll comment on my post, Zoom all the time. Yeah,
I
that's
gotta tell you
awesome.
where that came from.
I was gonna ask what I was getting ready to ask. Where did that come from?
So where that came from is back in 1997. I was visiting my grandma. She was at old folks home. I was on my '87 GSXR 750 street bike. Gen 1 750. And I had just got done visiting my grandfather at the cemetery, and I went to visit my grandma at the old folks home. And we were talking, and then she's looking at the weather. It's like, the weather's getting bad. You better head home And when you go home, you gotta go home, zoom. Just get on the bike and zoom. And that was the last time I what do you call talked to my grandmother, because later that night she passed away. So that was like basically the last thing my grandmother told me, and that was kind of like every time I need to go somewhere fast, that was my thing. What my grandma said: zoom, let's go, zoom, and everything. So that's where I got it from. And then I got another friend out of Arizona. I used to say it a lot too. My friend Ray Heimer used to say zoom a lot and everything. And it reminded me of my grandma when she used to say that to me. And go, zoom, go home, zoom, and everything. So that's where that comes from. So when I say that, it's just basically go somewhere quickly or swiftly.
I love it.
Because grandma said.
That's right. And grandma's always right. Absolutely. Yeah, never. I miss my grandma too. It's yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, man, it's man, I feel like me and you could sit here for just days and just talk.
Right.
Absolutely, days and days and days. But listen, we're an hour and 10 into this. You guys stay tuned because we're gonna have Billy on. I'm gonna have Billy on a bunch of times. Like I got a buttload of questions and notes right here, not only there in this other piece of my notebook right here, but unfortunately we didn't get to them all today. But we're gonna that's why we're gonna have many more together, right?
Especially those pictures I sent you. There's the stories on some of those pictures.
I know. They're actually. You know what? Let's talk about one before I get into the whole personal questions. Let's see. Obviously, the one with you and Gillum on the podium, which was absolutely amazing.
Special time. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that one.
That one right there was end of the season, and Dustin came up to me and was like, "Hey, what do you need to win that championship?" I was like, "I need a bunch of points." And a boatload of points. I was doing the what do you call the team challenge with Ryan Snooks up in Ready to Ride. Shout out to him. He did a ton of work on this. What do you call endurance bike? Basically, I got an 08 that he also used for Motor America that year, also for the Twins Cup. But we put like a lot of time and money into this. And what I mean, he did a lot of work on this bike. Props to Ryan Snooks. So when it comes down to the last race, he goes, "What do you need?" I go, "I need X amount of points. I don't know if we could do it. With all three of us trying to jump on the bike and win this race." We came in third in that race, and Dustin he led a few laps and everything, but came down to the wire. We ended up finishing third in that race, and he got us real close. I think we lost by like maybe less than 20 points. I would say like maybe 17, 18 points that year. We came in second that year. Then the following year, I tried again with one of Ryan's friends, Tyler Hicks. He and I and Robert Lackey, we tried to do it. We came second again. I think we lost that year in single points, and then the third year, that's another story. I really don't want to talk about the third. We got super close. Now, when I talk about super close, we're talking about super close. We thought we were on the podium, and we were not. But that, I think I should save that story for another time, because that needs more explanation and everything, and bring in other people because if you ever notice, I always had someone from Motor America on my team.
Yep.
And that was the thing. It was like there was a whole lot of people I knew from the racing community that I'll come race with you, Billy. It was like and some of them were from the Motor America realm or family. But I'll save it for another time, because that needs more than a few minutes to talk about that one season that we're super close.
Perfect. And listen, if you guys don't know who Ryan Snooks is, Ready to Ride. He's in North Carolina. If you need your bikes worked on, listen, ring him up. I wish I had his number right here, because I'd give it to you at the shop. He actually works with Logan Cunnison, Logan C, and his dad,
Little
Steve.
Logan.
Dude, absolutely amazing, proper mega fast, future legend of the sport. So if you guys are out Brenner this weekend, stop by and say hi to Ryan Snooks, RTR. Trust me, you can't miss him. And listen, while we're on that real quick, all my friends racing in Moto America this weekend. If you guys at Brenner, stop by and see them, say hi. The list is on. I mean, Avery the Lap Slayer, Isaac Woodworth, Levi Batty and his girlfriend Alicia. I mean, listen, the list goes on and on and on. Matter of fact, just walk around everybody and just introduce yourself, say hi, and show all your love and support to everybody. They're such an amazing people. Yeah, and don't forget to say hi to Ellen either. And I keep telling everybody this. Ella's going to break a lot of hearts in the Junior Cup class. You guys, I'm telling you, I've been saying it. Watch out. And actually, we have another comment, dude, from the legend Aaron Dreyer himself. He says, Billy
Hey, Aaron.
and
Hey.
Bad's boy team. That's right. So, yeah, go say hi to all the bad boys. And listen, y'all, when you see John Ludwig, go give him a big hug for me. Awesome. But yeah, Billy, listen, check it out. We're an hour 15 into this. I want to get to my favorite part of the interview where we get to know Billy Pedro on a personal level, right? Not just the epic legend human being you are. So listen, I want to start it off by Billy, you're from Hawaii. I've never had authentic Hawaiian food, right? So tell me, what do you recommend for people that are going to Hawaii? What restaurants or little food trucks that people should hit up there?
Oh wow. I would say there's two types of food in Hawaii. There's Hawaiian authentic foods, basically what the ancient Hawaiians ate, and also there's local foods. And what local foods are all the cultures that make up Hawaii, like Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Portuguese, and this actually Mexicans came over there actually showed the Hawaiians how to cattle rustle. They're called paneolos, and that's a Hawaiian cowboy. So there's local food and then there's Hawaiian authentic food. So when we talk about Hawaiian authentic foods, I always tell people go hit like one of those luau's, like Germain's. Not advertising Germain's or anything, but they're like one of the closest luau's that you will have, like squid luau or poi. Poi is the main what it called potato staple in Hawaii. It's an acquired taste, I'd say that much. And of course, you have the kalua pork, which is basically pulled pork. In Hawaii, they just steam it in a big imu, which is a oven in the ground.
Yep.
And that would be for the authentic what do you call Hawaiian food. But when it comes to local food, I always tell people there's a place out in downtown Honolulu called Rainbow Inn. They have all the local foods like a pork cutlet, chicken katsu, even like Korean curry and all that kind of stuff. It's just all these local authentic ethnicities that just make the melting pot of Hawaii. So yeah, you got the local foods and you have the Hawaiian authentic foods. For me, I do like for Hawaiian authentic foods. I do like the kalua pork. Who doesn't like pork? And then the poi, you have to have grown up with it. And then also like the squid luau and the lomi salmon. The lomi salmon is basically salmon that's raw. It's sort of like a salsa with salmon in it, with raw salmon. You have like the onions and what do you call tomatoes. That's not too bad and everything. And of course you have the poke, which is the raw what do you call cubes of fish and everything. So that's what I would recommend.
I love it. So let me ask you this: what's for dinner tonight, Billy?
So I live like north of what do you call the airport, and there's a place called Arai Taco Poke. It's a ramen Japanese place, but I found they have the closest to Hawaiian local foods, like with the pork cutlet or even the chicken katsu. I'm thinking of having the chicken katsu tonight because it's like it reminds me of home and everything. And then I wish I could make friends with some of the United Airline flight attendants so they can bring me like a plate lunch from one of the lunch wagons back home. And that's my next goal. Go make some friends with some flight attendants so they can bring stuff from Hawaii on a daily.
Dude, listen. So this brings me to my next. You cook? I love to cook. Okay, so listen. When I see you and I come out to Texas, I need you to make me some good Hawaiian food.
I'll make you a lau. And a lau is basically pork with a fish and some kind of fish, and also it's wrapped in like tea leaves or like spinach leaves and everything. It's pork salted, and it's like pulled pork when you put it when you pull this whole thing apart, and that's oh my god, the smell is ridiculous and everything. If you come out here, I'll make you some lao laos.
I'm coming. I'm on my way right now. I will seriously in April. I'm coming next year for sure. That's man. I'm hungry now. I'm really and look. Just saying that, my wife just texted me said dinner's ready. I think she made tacos tonight. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, good stuff. Yeah, we get this rice. It's box rice, but man, it's called shit. I can't even remember the name of it, but it's some of the best like rice.
Is this a long grain or short grain?
It's a short grain.
Short grain. Oh, okay. So it's long grain. I was thinking about maybe it might be jasmine or
I love jasmine.
yeah, the short grain. You have like the Japanese rice, which is short grain, and
Yeah.
they're like if you go to like some stores here on the mainland, called the lower 48s, the mainland. Um, they have Calrose, which is a brand that they have here out of California, and they have the short grain, so it could be something like that. And it's like and they also have a sweet rice, what do you call rice? I'm trying to
Thai
remember the
rice.
name.
It's
Yeah,
sticky rice. No.
rice. You
Is
have
it?
you have the like Thai and stuff that's all sticky, but the Japanese have like more of the stickier, and the Japanese and the Chinese and everything.
Well, I said that because my cousin he married this Thai woman. She comes here
Mhm.
and she makes the best food. That's how I fell in love with Thai food. Thai food's one of my favorites. But she makes this sweet sticky rice with mangoes. Oh my god, it is like
Oh,
some of the best shit you ever had in your life. It is so good. Like I don't if she makes it, I don't even want to eat dinner. I just want that. Right. I just want to be a fat kid today and just eat that. It's so good. You guys listen, absolutely amazing. So let me ask you this, Billy. You've already told us something I didn't know about you, but tell everybody else something that we don't know about you at all.
oh, okay. So there's a couple of things that one came to mind, and it's hilarious and everything. When I tell people that, like, no way. So growing up, I went to a private Catholic school. If any of my friends from what they call from kindergarten to like eighth grade would know, I used to be an altar boy. Like I used to do altar service on the weekends, on Sunday mass. I used to do religiously. The first time I was an altar boy, I think I had first communion, so I would say around 11 or 10, all the way up until I actually did it up into my 30s. And my mom would go, there's something wrong about a guy up there with a beard.
You need to come down now. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome, dude. I
I
love
go,
it.
God is watching.
Yeah, he's got his eye on you for
Yeah.
sure, right? So listen, let me ask you this: what's your worst habit?
My worst habit. I think my worst habit would be trying to remember. There used to be something I used to say a lot. I used to say "and then" a lot.
And then,
That was I was trying to stop saying "and then." I was so on this little podcast. I was trying to watch myself not to say "and then" and everything, because I don't know if it was growing up in Hawaii, we would say that again. Like "and then what happened?"
and
Or
then,
"what are you gonna do?" And then that was like a pet peeve of mine, because I have people, even like my ex girlfriend, she'd say that, you say "and then" a lot. That used to drive me batty. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. And then
yeah,
that's
and then.
and so I remember they did it on Mad TV, and I totally, oh man, oh my god, I cracked up. I was like, I used to say that on the
My,
daily.
my wife gets on me for saying mega all the time. She's like, God damn it, stop saying proper mega all the time. I was like, girl, this is mega. She's like, stop with that, right? So our inside joke is she'll be like, we'll text each other, and I always got to slide it in once a day. I was like, babe, that's absolutely mega. And she's like, gives me the finger, like, forget you, punk. Yeah. It's absolutely hilarious. So let me ask you this, dude. If you can invite any three people in the world to a track day, whether they're here with us now or they're not, what three people are you bringing to the track day?
The three people, obviously I'm gonna bring Dust. Gotta bring my broski back. Because I think he left us too early, and I thought he had more to share with the world
Yeah.
and everything. I'd definitely bring him. And then I'd bring my cousin that me into racing. My cousin Ronil. He passed last August, and I would bring him because I always told him, I was like, dude, you need to come out and do a track day because um, you're the one that got me into this whole thing. Taking me to Vegas and watching all these AMA guys and everything. And then I think the third person I would bring with me to the track would be probably my buddy CJ Cohen and everything. We're just you know, from he's been coaching, and man, he's just one of those guys that he will tell you if you're doing something wrong, and and not sugarcoat it. That's the one thing I do like about CJ. He doesn't put any sugar on it. He's like, hey, dude, you're doing it all wrong. That's not the way to do it.
Dude, you suck. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, get with the program.
Yeah. Why you riding like a? I don't know. I want to say little girls because I know some fast little girls that have blown me away in CCS when I was racing CCS. I remember a young Kayla Yakov going up the hill right before the bus stop and passing me. Like I parked it and was like on the beach like barbecuing or something. I was like, holy cow! It's like she came by me fast and furious.
Yeah, she's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
She's another one that's just absolutely amazing, man. It's
Yeah,
for sure. So listen, everybody knows I'm a big audiobook listening to, and I'm actually listening to Stuart Baker. He's got a Valentina Rossi biography I'm listening to, but it's nowhere near as good as the one I just got done listening to, which is called oh my God. Not Over the Hedge, but anyway, it's all about the TT. It's absolutely amazing. So do you listen to any audiobooks or read books or anything?
I think the last book I read something like that was I would say in the late 90s when Keith Cole had his book out and everything. And then I go, this guy's out in California, and I've been to Willow Springs and some of the tracks where he basically teaches that and everything. So I think that would probably be the last, Twist of the Wrist.
Twist of the Wrist.
Yeah.
Absolute classic.
I don't even know if I might have dated myself. Like, what's Twist of the Wrist,
Right. Volume 1 and Volume 2, people get it together. Right. Yeah. Me too. We just gave away our age again, right? But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So listen, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Everybody knows one of the best, seriously, Billy, one of the best motorcycle racing audiobook you're going to read or listen to is John Hopkins' Leathered. It is absolutely such an amazing book, but I am reading one of the physical books that I've been reading and since audiobooks, since I got into them, is from my friend Andy Ibbett. He's an absolute legend of the sport. He raced. He was in Motorcycle Magazine's Test Riders. He actually coached Valentina Rossi for a while, but he sent me this book. No, it's not another paid advertisement. He's just a good buddy of mine, and it's an absolute proper mega read. You can see it's MotoGP riding performance and technique. So it's kind of like Twist of the Wrist, but it's MotoGP, right? So it's super technical. It's not as cut and dry. I mean, it gets really in depth, and it's absolutely an amazing book, man. So you guys should go out there.
You just reminded me of something. So I live in basically New Caney, which is about 20 minutes away from what do you call the airport here at Bush Intercontinental, and right up the street from where I live is Conroe, and Colin Edwards lives in Conroe. And have you ever seen Faster, the documentary?
Of course.
Yes. And the way he explains Laguna Seca, like every single corner, the way he narrates the track, especially leading up to the what do you call corkscrew, where he says, picking up the front end like 4 millimeters off the ground before you drop into the front. I go, holy cow! He explains that track intimately. Like, it's like, what he just said there. If you've never been to the track and watched some of these guys go fast or ride the track, that's what that sensation he's talking about is driving up into the hill right before you drop down to the corkscrew. It is out of the world. It's like the way they do it and everything, especially the MotoGP guys. It's like it's crazy. It's like that's like when you talk about audiobooks, I could listen to that over and over how he explains the whole track.
Yes.
Like every inch of it is like it's incredible.
It is. And if you guys haven't watched Faster or Fastest, what are you doing with your life? If you have not watched the Texas Tornado, and the Kentucky Kid,
Oh yes,
what are you
that's
doing
another
with your
favorite.
life? Where are you at? Like, seriously, get off of here. Don't listen to us no more. This will be out on Spotify and all that good stuff tomorrow. You can go right back on Facebook and rewatch
I
it, but go watch it.
I made Ryan Snooks watch all three of those before we went up to Loudon. I was like, dude,
Love it.
you need to watch this before we go to Loudon because it was his first time to Loudon, and I've been to Loudon, and like, watch this. It'll inspire
Watch
you, and hopefully we'll go fast when we get up there.
facts, right? And some Collins I said too on that, as you was talking 40 millimeters going all the way up the straightaway, and he said he was saving that going into the corkscrew in his back pocket because there's a certain line he can go straight and then force you to run you wide and have the inside line. It was yeah. So when he said that, after I watched that, I immediately went on there and played Ride 4 and freaking was like, I wonder if this is actually right. And of course I crashed my brains out trying to get it down, but there is actually a little straight line you can actually do instead of cutting slightly to the right and then setting up for the corkscrew. Is yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. And dude, big shout out to Colin Edwards, the Texas Tornado, and his boot camp. He does have a boot camp.
I want to do one of his boot camps and one of his Mad Dog races.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever heard of his Mad Dog races.
I have. Yep. I've had friends that's been there.
Yeah, because I've got like 2 dirt bikes down here. I've got a CR 125 and then I got a RT 100. They're all 2-strokes. I'm a 2-stroke dirt bike rider for life and everything. I just like that ring ding 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 zoom.
Ding, and that smell.
Yeah.
The castor oil, let me get it. Smells so good. Yes. So listen, let me ask you this, Billy. Who's your favorite comedian?
Right now, I've been listening to a lot of Joe Coy.
Joe Coy is hilarious.
Yeah.
He is.
Joe Coy. I've been listening to a lot of Joe Coy because I can kind of relate to most of it because I go, yeah, my mom did that. Growing up, my mom, having an Asian mom, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially with some of the discipline that she did. And I was like, yep.
My grandma used to chase me around with a broom and beat that shit out of me with a broom. She's like, you little mother. Yeah. And I used to have to pick switches off trees. And if it wasn't good enough, I got beat even worse. I'd pull my pants down, get switched on the back of the leg and all that. That was when you used to get your ass beat by your parents and your grandma. Today, you cannot do that. If I took my son to the grocery store and I smacked the shit out of him, I'm going straight to jail. They're going to call the police and some more shit, right?
Right. Yeah, and they would do it in public too back in the day.
Straight up, dude. You're like, oh yeah? I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I
And people like, yup, that's what you get.
That's exactly what you get. That's right. Out. Nobody even stopped and even looked. They might look for a second. That's it. Now you do some shit like that, the whole like store just stops. Like you just committed this murder. It's absolutely, man. So listen, let me ask everybody this because I'm a big Star Wars fan. Are you Star Wars or are you Star Trek?
Star Wars for sure, because we use a lot of Star Wars analogy in my line of work in the airline business. I've got Padawans, I got Knights, I got Masters and everything in my group. Like, all right, Padawan, let me show you how to fix this thing.
I love it. So let me ask you this, Billy. What character would you be? What Star Wars character would Billy be?
I would be at this point in my aviation career. I'm definitely a Jedi master at this point. Everything, with everything I've gone through, being a mechanic and then flying for a little bit as a pilot, and then transitioning over to engineering. I've kind of done it all and seen it and everything.
I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you this: what's Billy's celebrity crush?
Ooh. It was funny you say that because I was just watching a clip of hers, Debbie Gibson from back in the 80s.
Y'all remember Debbie? Again, we're giving our age away, man. Billy, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. Yeah, dude, you're right, dude. Yeah, Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson was basically kind of like our Taylor Swift of the day,
Facts. 100% facts. Debbie Gibson. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to some of her music on Apple Music now since you said that, because I ain't heard her in forever.
I was listening to her stuff this morning because she's doing her musical. This Electric Youth, 30 years of a musical. What do you call Electric Youth is what she's calling her tour.
Yep.
Like, it's been that long. I'm like, holy cow! 30 to 30, no, 35 years. That's what it is. But I'm gonna age myself right here because the only reason I know it's 35 because this year is my high school 35th what do you call reunion. We're having a reunion this year. It's gonna be 35 years.
Man, the time just goes by. Yeah, it's like I remember when you're little and you're growing up, you just can't wait to be an adult and drive. And I'm gonna leave, and I ain't gotta listen to you no more, mom and dad, and all this. And you get on your
Yeah.
own, and you're like, shit, I just want to be young again. I don't want these bills. I don't want this worry. I don't want this. I don't want that. I just want to be little again and have none of that. You know, mama making me breakfast, lunch, dinner, doing my laundry, all that. Yeah, now it's work. So let me ask you this: what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh my God. Stay the course. Don't change anything you're doing because I was looking at my career and everything I've done from racing to my personal career, what I do for work. And I would not change anything because if I did this, like if I got what do you call married and started a family and it would have led me this, I would have never met these people. Or if I had never taken that job over at Gulfstream, I'd never meet all these East Coast racers and everything, and people that make up the motorcycle community on the east side of the what do you call Mississippi. I would say to my younger self, stay the course. Just do what you're doing because that course. If I could go back in time and tell my younger self what I'm doing now, I'm like, dude, you are on some serious weed. There's no way a little guy from a podunk town in Wailua, Hawaii is gonna go travel all these racetracks, go across the pond, do all this stuff. I was like, no way, no way. I would tell him you're on crack.
Quit smoking that Hawaiian Bam Bam, Billy.
Yeah, that unofficial state flower.
Right? And it's so good. I mean, yeah. Anyway, facts, right? This is a whole nother conversation, right? But
yeah,
listen,
that is.
let me ask you this, Billy. Are you watching any like Netflix series right now you can recommend to anybody or Apple TV or anything?
I'm watching what was that, the Star Wars
Acolyte.
Acolyte, yeah.
Yes, they just come out with the third series. So when I get off here and I'm eating dinner,
Yeah,
so
I saw it last night. In fact,
I did
because it comes out at 9 o'clock Eastern time. I actually watched it right at midnight when I stayed up for a good hour watching it, and I just like what I didn't know what Acolyte was. It's basically I don't know if anyone's seen it, but what it means is to defeat someone without weapons.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that'd be like me going out there on a YSR 50 and going to beat somebody on a Ducati.
I mean, it's true, and it's so good. If you guys haven't watched it, listen, do yourself a favor. It's actually really, really good. It's absolutely. So, Billy, are you into any other sports? Like, do you watch football or soccer, or which I take that back. Football is the real soccer. Do you watch handball, American handball, soccer, baseball, or anything like that?
The only thing I look at is like sports in Hawaii. I look at the volleyball team, like the UH or University of Hawaii, the volleyball team, and also the softball team. I watch a lot of college sports in Hawaii, just because I didn't go to any of those universities, but you're always cheering from the hometown. So my parents religiously watch what do you call sports like college sports in Hawaii. So I kind of like did the same thing, just watch a lot of college sports, and then I do tune into my old what do you call high school sports, especially with the volleyball team and the football team. Wow, the football team's come along a long way since I was in high school. We never got close going to the state championship, and the women's and men's volleyball team are on fire, taking some championships the last couple of years. I'm like, holy cow, they're on fire. And they're putting Wailu on the map. And I like to think I put Wailu on the map too, just being on the grid at some of these races. It's like, look, Wailu, Hawaii.
That's it. Fact, zoom, baby. Yeah. Let's go. That's it, dude. I love it. So let me ask you this. Are you PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
What's in the console right now?
Probably MotoGP 3 or 4. Probably 4. Everything.
Nice. I haven't got the new one. I got 2023, man, and that game just listen. I love MotoGP, but it's horrible. It's a horrible game. The braking is just stupid.
I think the controls are. I think I need to get really good at it. It's just basically I don't know if I need to make it less sensitive because I kind of like no, I want to go this, and I kind of over exaggerate the turn. I'm like, oh, and that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. It's like your mind is trying to tell you, no, I want to do this, but your fingers
Thumbs
over
are
here.
like, no,
Oh,
this is what we're
nope.
doing. Yeah.
I got a funny story. Firebird East, turn one. I crashed and I went to put my hand down to like protect myself, and I rolled this thumb. That's why that thumb's crooked. I
I
was
see.
pissed because I couldn't play my Game Boy that night. I was like, can't play the Game Boy. I can't use the right to left, up and down, because that's what that is. It's the that's the
Yeah.
joystick side of my thumb, and that's why my thumb's fucked up because I went to turn one hot, hit the brakes way too late, and the front end just tucked, and I went sailing. I went,
Yep.
yeah. I tried to do that. Actually, what I tried to do was do this and then roll, but no, I should have just done this and rolled.
But
Lessons learned.
in the moment, it's you don't it's just natural, right? When you
Right.
fall, you naturally stick out your hands like that. So yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome. So let me ask you this: who was your favorite road racer growing up? Not right now, but growing up as a kid.
Growing up as a kid, I did watch a lot of Kevin Swans, but Scott Russell. Oh my God, I remember the first time I met Scott. That guy could party. Oh, even when I meet him now, he looks like he got done at a party and everything. That guy likes to party. I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave it at that. There's some
He's
stories behind that.
well, good. We'll get into those next time. He's an
Uh,
absolute legend. You guys know who Scott
yeah,
Russell is. If not, go look him up. I mean, what are you waiting on? It's
yeah. I actually got the tattoo of the Screaming Chief on my shoulder
love
and
it,
everything.
dude.
I've
That's
got the Screaming Chief
badass.
on. Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I would have to say Scott Russell next. It's kind of hard. You got Kevin Swans, and then you got because they're two different. Even though Scott went to MotoGP on a Suzuki and everything, along with when he was on the what do you call Lucky Strikes
Lucky
team.
Strike, yeah.
Not the same time as Kevin Swans because Kevin had retired by then, and I think he was his teammate back then with Scott. I think it was Ned Bealey.
Ned Billy, yep. I
Yeah,
think you're right. Yep.
yeah, that's who his teammate was back in the day. And then I always had high hopes for Ben Speeds, to follow in those footsteps because he was leading up to it. He's doing it on the Yamaha and everything. I was like, man, I wish we had an American. Maybe next year we might have an American in MotoGP because Roberts is doing pretty well in Moto 2.
Let's go. Let's hope, right? I mean,
Yeah,
let's
we got a we got an American MotoGP team. Just need some riders.
right. Yeah, 110% agree, man. I really do. I really do. So did you watch the TT? Are you a big TT fan?
I was watching the highlights just because I was just watching Mark and it's like, oh, I know that guy.
Love Mark
Super
Miller.
I know.
Absolute legend.
I know. I need to sit down and watch some of the races and everything because I'm actually getting ahead of myself because I'm listening to Mark's commentary. I'm like, ooh, gotta watch that one and everything. And then I got another friend of mine in Florida, Peter, who watches like all the
Peter
what they call
Essoff.
sidecar, yeah, all the
Yeah,
sidecar
he's
stuff,
a
and
legend.
that stuff is amazing. And I tell people, you want to see something crazy, watch the sidecars at the TT and everything. That is some no joke, crusty demons of death on asphalt.
Bro, I tell everybody it's not Peter Hickman and Mikey D and all them on the solos. It's the sidecars, and it's not even the guy riding the sidecar. It's the monkey sitting in the
Right.
side. That to me is just like they blow my mind. Like, yeah, and you watch on board footage. I'm like, dude, how and to do the distance they do, and yeah, absolutely amazing human beings. It's
Yeah, I think that's where the knee jerk, I mean, the head helmet drag came from. I'm looking at it because some of those guys can literally drag a helmet through some of those corners and everything.
it's listen, that's absolutely yeah. So I watch the TT every year. It's
Hmm.
absolutely my favorite. I've been watching the TT shit. I can't even remember how long ago it's been. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I
Uh,
used to get them on DVD at what do you call it, Cycle Gear. I used to go to Cycle Gear and go, or they would
absolutely.
have it playing, and then I'm like, oh yeah, do you have that one? And then I'll go get that year and watch it and everything. But one of
So
these days, I want to go watch it live. I want to like maybe go
me
with
too.
someone and go, hey, you want to go to Island Man with me? We'll watch. Oh, we'll have to go Zoom.
We will. We'll zoom 100%.
Yeah.
We will. So listen, I actually got a TT question I want to ask you. It's an oldie one. but I love this question for some reason. I don't know why. But in 1961, Honda won their very first TT race. Who was the rider?
Joey Dunlop. Was
Mike the
it?
Bike Hellwood.
Oh, was it Hillwood? Okay.
Yes.
Because I
And
know Joey was on a Honda for a little bit.
he
And
was.
everything.
He was. And big shout
Yeah.
out to Michael Dunlop. Now he's the
Oh, Michael,
greatest,
yes. He was
the
fastest uncle.
legend. Yes, dude. And listen, nobody would have thought in our lifetime that we would see somebody win 26 TT races, much less 27, and it be in the same family. I mean, that's never
Yeah.
going to happen again. I'm not going to say that's never going to happen again, but not in our lifetime, and probably not in our kids' lifetime neither.
Yeah, I think I should have said that because I remember when Michael came out to here in the U.S. to
Daytona,
race the Daytona 200.
yeah,
He did it on a Honda,
yeah.
Honda 1000, and I really don't want to talk about that bike, but he could have done a little bit better on that on some other bikes and everything because you know the talent that he has. But yeah, I think that weekend I actually was hanging out with him, but I wasn't like really hanging out with him. I was just hanging out with CJ and Mike Dunlop, he just happened to be hanging out with CJ and everything. So I always tell people, it's like, yeah, I met the guy, but I was hanging out with CJ at the time. And, Michael Dunlop had to have been there and everything. And that's how I kind of met him. In fact, I don't even know if, because God, let's just say we did a lot of powering that night before the 200 and
Love
everything.
it, dude. I'm jealous, man, because I want to meet him. One day I will meet him. He's an absolute legend. Him and McGinnis and Ian Hutchison. I met Connor Cummings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's man, those guys are just absolutely amazing. But let me ask you this before we end this video. If you could choose one superpower in the world, what superpower would you pick, Billy?
The one superpower probably is stop time. Because sometimes I feel we're going too fast. And everything.
Facts.
Stop time and enjoy what you have right now.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I tell people, I was like, we need to. I think one guy, I remember this one guy. It was my first time at Daytona back in 1999, and my my race was coming up, and I'm trying to put my gloves on frantically, and the guy goes, hey, stop, 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 put your gloves on, make sure they're on right. You got plenty of time to make the grid. I know they're on third call, but make sure you got your safety. I could wish I could have froze time, put my gloves on, then unfreeze it, and then go. Because I was like, oh my god, because my first time at Daytona, and I'm like trying to get on the bike. Third call, I had just taken these tire socks, these old school tire socks,
Tire socks. I remember
the
those.
yellow one.
Yes.
It's all
I
about the yellow
remember the
ones.
tire socks. Yes. Yes. They were bringing it old school today.
Dude, I
Holy
had to
shit.
borrow those from a buddy, Rob Martin. He let me borrow those because he knew I was going to Daytona. You need time warmers, Billy. Go put some slicks on time warmers because he had been there the year before with James Romero. I remember
James
James
Romero.
Romero
Yep.
was out there, and he goes, "Yeah, make sure you got time warmers with right pressures." And I was trying to make sure I had the right pressures and everything because I was at Daytona, and I had the right compound tires on. But I was like, "Oh, I got to put my gloves on," and I wish I could have froze down. But I had that one guy that helped me. I forget his name. I ended up taking. I want to say I took third in that race and everything just because I was following this guy on a TZ 250, and I was like, I'll just follow this guy. This guy is fast. He's on a fast bike. Just follow this guy and everything. And followed him around the track, and he pulled me onto the podium.
Love it, dude. I love it. So listen, last question before we get to our shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Oh, that would be Terry Haas. He's a guy that used to work with what do you call Hypercycle with I actually used to work with Nikki and everything. He would tell me stories about Nikki Hayden and of course the guy that ran Hypercycle. We're talking about trying to remember his name. I got his face in my head. I'm trying to remember his name. I hope he's not watching this. He's gonna kill me. I was like, Andrew, Terry Andrews. Oh my
Carrie
God,
Andrews.
how can I not forget that guy's name and everything? But yeah, Terry Haas. Him and because they're both pretty much the same. Is Kyle Winkler? They're both what do you call mechanics for like he's Kyle's working for Warhorse right now and everything. Top one of the top teams out there in the paddocks. Working for Heron and Boz and everything. And Yeah, I got those two guys in my phone. In fact, before we sign off, the reason why talk about Terry because when COVID hit, I ended up in the hospital. He was one of the three people that actually came to visit me at the hospital. There, you know, KK, Terry, and then this other guy from one of my crazy rich Asian guys from Dallas came down, made sure I was doing okay and everything.
I love it. Good stuff, dude. Billy, I've had an absolute blast. We're an hour and 50 minutes in this. I told you we're gonna have so much fun. We still
Yeah,
got so much to talk about. You guys stay tuned. I'm gonna have Billy on many, many more podcasts. Matter of fact, when we get off here in a minute, we're gonna pre-set up our next one. So it's already the date set up, the time will be already scheduled, and I'll put it out there. So you guys make sure to tune in. This episode will be uploaded on everywhere but Apple. Okay. As soon as I get me a new laptop, then I'll be on Apple too. But until then, I'm everywhere but Apple. But listen, before we get off here, Billy, is there anything shout outs? Give all your shout outs, how people can
um,
find you and all that good stuff.
yeah. Just want to shout out for people that helped me along the way through the years, especially Lightweight Village out of CCS Southwest, the guys that out of Arizona that helped me through my amateur years and the being part of my expert years and everything. Lightweight Village, you guys know who you are and everything. And then also to Joey Tichy, every time I needed a place to stay up north, he always had a couch. I would have to fight for a place to stay at his place because he had all these other Moto America guys staying at his place on a what do you call a race weekend and everything. And then also with Ryan Snooks, thank you for the years of racing with me and all those years just having fun, traveling all over the place to go race. Of course, Dustin Apcar, man. I've known him since the beginning of his race career till his last AMA race. I just enjoy all the memories that we had on the road, especially all the things that you taught me that I know you were actually teaching me that were all road racing related, especially doing things on the ground. I'm like, yeah, I got to do what on the ground? Okay, whatever. Let's just do it. And he was teaching a valuable lesson and everything.
That's
And
awesome.
then with CJ down south, like, thank you for his family, his family, and his race family, for having me in their lives and showing me some things and me showing them some things, which was awesome. It's like, I wish I could tell my younger self, this is like the kind of life you're going to be living when you get older. And I can't believe I've been on this ride since 93 on two wheels on asphalt. But since I was like, 7, 8, when I was on a dirt bike.
Beautiful life, man. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, listen, Billy, it's been an absolute honor. But before I get off here, of course, you already guys know the routine. Bison.com, pin to gas, 2024, 10% off everything your leather suit, your gloves, your chest protector, your undersuit, hats, sweatshirts. Even if you're a team and you want shirts made, Bison, right? They do everything. Robert and Tasha, I love you guys. They're actually on a trip to Italy, I think, right now.
France.
Yeah, France. There it is. So yeah, absolutely. And also my buddy Jake Marsh, R&D racing team out in British Superbikes in the GP2 class is an up and coming legend. He has a Club 45. Please go sign up. Show all your love and support for him. Matter of fact, all my mates out in BOB and in BSB, and the list is long. Go show them if you're going to be there. I think they got Knock Hill coming up. Make sure you go out there, stop by, give them all your love and support. Big shout out to my people's the Clothing Kings, Martin Adams out there in the UK. You guys can go to clothingkings.co.uk and order any Pendergast merch you guys want out there in the UK. His clothes are absolutely simply amazing. And if any of my mates out there are looking to get team wear or anything, hit me up. I'll put you in direct contact with him. Martin, he takes care of it all. He has no stock to hold, which you have no stock to hold. He processes all. He brands it, he packages it, labels it, ship worldwide, and he pays you monthly. You see the logo there. You see my man Hardy, my man Jake the Snake, California, UK, RD Racing. Let's go. Don't forget to clothingkings.co.uk. Also, I met this guy. His name was Grant. I forget his last name in Road America. Um, and he gave me these sunglasses right here, right? And I've tried them out. Literally, I've been wearing them every day, Billy. And like most people, dude, you always wear sunglasses underneath your helmet sometimes. And when you do, the arms put pressure on your head and it causes headaches and this and that. These
Right.
right here are simply amazing. Check these things out.
Oh wow. Big
And they
flex.
bounce, and they're made in Texas, assembled in Texas,
Nice.
and made in Texas, in Austin, Texas. So not too far from Coda, right? So
Right.
listen, you guys can go to the Flying Eyes Optics and use Pin to Gas 10 and get 10% off. And they have all kinds of styles, shapes, and sizes of sunglasses, and they are made to wear, of course, day to day, but specifically if you wear a motorcycle helmet, which I hope all you guys do. Even if you're in a state that don't wear helmets, please do me a favor and wear a helmet, right? But listen, these sunglasses right here, they're absolutely amazing. So thank you, Grant, for the opportunity and for the discount code for everybody and for me too as well. But these things right here, look, Billy, no bullshit. I'll bring my wife in here. I said, dude, check out these. I think I have a potential new sponsor with this guy right here, Grant. He gave me these, and the first thing she says, "Oh my God, they're super light. They are the lightest glasses I've ever had." And they make prescriptions, so you can get these in RX prescription too as well. And she
Oh
was
wow.
like, "I'm taking these to the beach." I said, but, yeah, seriously. I said, but they're not polarized. And so she's been, stealing them from me and wearing them. And, yeah, absolutely amazing. So listen, guys, the Flying Eyes Optics, and of course, SFL Mini GP. Anybody in the area in Florida, Georgia, Virginia, East Coast, West Coast, it don't matter. Go hit up SFL Mini GP, sign up. It'll be the best time of your life. Even if you're our age and you never been on a motorcycle and you always wanted to drag your knee or just learn how to ride, it's the perfect place. If you got a kid, a girl or a child looking to get him into riding, not just specifically racing, but just to ride and then get into racing, listen, SFL Mini GP is absolutely the best place in America to get it done. And you don't even have to have a bike. You don't have to have no gear. You just register, sign up, and he provides everything. Michael Carrera, he's got a son. Big shout out to Juju. You see the
Right.
helmet, the hat right here. British Talent. I mean, British, yeah. British Talent Cup. Man, I'm ass backwards today, but British Talent Cup, Juju, absolutely amazing. So yeah, man. Listen, and of course, Chef Eats. You can't forget Chef Eats, right? If you guys haven't heard of Chef Eats, I don't know where you've been living. If you've been at the racetracks, I know you see Chef Eats logo everywhere. Listen, simply the best prepared meals you can get. Throw them in a microwave for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And listen, you got to be honest, when you try stuff like that or you hear about it, you're like, well, steak and chicken is going to be dry and tough. And absolutely not. It's just like it comes from straight from the restaurant in the kitchen. Absolutely amazing. If you don't believe me, when you go to the racetrack, ask all the riders around there who Chef Eats is and how good the food is. Shoot, they may even give you a piece of chicken. Maybe even give you a sample and a bite, right? Trust me, you will not regret it. And last but not least, Vet2 Track. My buddy Jim Whitman has an awesome program for all the vets out there. Listen, if you ever want to just to ride, hit him up, Vet2 Track. He'll get you out there on the track, put you on part of the team. Listen, you hang around with like-minded people. It's nothing but love. It's a safe zone, and you will have the best time in the world. Again, you don't believe me? When you go to the nearest track, go look up Vet2 Track. He's 90% times always there. If you want to get in touch with him and you can't find him on social media, which just Vet2 Track. That's all you got to look up. It's number 2, Vet2 Track. Simply amazing. But listen, guys, it's been an absolute honor. As I always, I love all you guys that watch and comment on the podcast. And if you have not yet, please go like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I love all you guys. Billy, is there anything you want to say before we end this?
Yeah, I think one of the last things, and I keep on forgetting, is like Rob and Tosh Lackey. You know, they were the first ones that helped me with Motor America going do my first race, and with a bison suit. My first race was on the bison suit. I cannot speak how much I love my bison suit. Freaking awesome. I got a Thor one. Been loving it ever since 2021 and everything. So it's been great.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my custom suit in, and I can't wait to show it off to all you people. There's only very few people that seen the picture of it. That's it.
Mm.
I'm waiting until I get it in. I got the gloves, I got the suit, I got the chest protector. I got the one piece. And listen, real quick, my man Tate from 64 Degree Racing. I know I'm an ambassador for Bison, and they're absolutely simply amazing. But my man 64 Degree Tate sent me this 2-piece custom made undersuit, and I physically wore it. I haven't wore my Bison yet, but I wore Tate's Matter of fact, the last 8 times I've been riding, it's I've had Alpine Star, I have RS Tachi, I've had Rev, I've had so many undersuits, right? Nike, Under Armour. A lot of people wear Nike and Under Armour because they're a lot cheaper. Well, not now, but they used to be. But listen, honestly, for a 2-piece undersuit, his XC1 suit, man, is absolutely hands down one of the best undersuits I ever put on my body. No bullshit. You don't believe me? Hit people up. A lot of people wear them. Of course, Bison. A lot of people wear Bison. I'm excited. Dude, bison.com. Again, Billy.
Join the herd.
Join the herd. And my man Chris Paris, he said Pedro stole my number 128.
Yeah, we share that number. I've had it since '93 at CCS, but I have a different number for what do you call Moto America. I think it's 169 for Moto America. But yeah, 128. Chris, he's actually done that number justice, especially with the championship in the Twins Cup. You know, he's done that number proud.
He's an absolute legend. You guys stay tuned because guess who's on the podcast tomorrow? The legend Chris Paris, show we're talking about right now. So yeah, and his wife Beth, which is, I can't wait. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. So you guys stay tuned. Billy, again, is there anything else you want to say before we get off here?
I just want to say aloha and thanks for everyone that's on here.
Listen, yeah, exactly what he said. Aloha. I love all you guys. You guys are proper mega, and yeah, I hope you guys have a good night. All right, Billy, dude. Listen, that was